You want a war? You're going to get one.
What was that? He had no time for one more play.
He had an opportunity to win that game at the end.
But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us.
I'm upset, but
the brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried.
Only Cowboys game.
You
The
literally
brother screwed us. The brother screwed us. We had one opportunity for one more play.
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, by the way, Dingbat here, and welcome to a Tuesday morning, afternoon for you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope everyone is doing well. Let me start off this by saying I listened to the Kevin Patullo press conference, and it went just as I thought it would go. No real questions, no real challenging him on certain things like who called the plays in the second half, who called the plays in the first half, and why do you do the same plays every play? Why not go against what teams expect you to do? Things like that could have been asked, weren't. All softball questions, and we got no answers today. With that said, I still think I know what's going on, and we're going to talk about it and whatever else you guys want. Laceford Seabiscuit, what's going on? KGK, what's up? Marie Steele, Ezra, Paul Wilson, Non-Killionaire, Youngin, EN890, Eddie Price, DHA, O'Dellboy, Logan Motorsports, Donnie, AC Fit 79, Hazard, Bang Bang Bird Gang, Luke Bradshaw, New Zealand Philly fan, what's going on? 6 a.m. The next day, you're in the future. What's up? Wanda, Daniel, Cryptic, it's Joho. Anybody that I missed, I apologize. But I was really hoping that there would have been some questions that would have been like telling. You know, there were a few things that were telling, but you know, I was hoping for a lot more, and I don't think we got it. I don't think we got it at all. I get more out of Fangio than anybody else, to be quite honest with you. Just as I said, the Eagles will piss off the entire team and ruin the chance in their championship. Bet on it. Now they're gonna still win the whole thing. You know, I still think they're gonna win the whole thing. I think that they're gonna right the ship. The one thing I did get out of what Patullo said, I thought he kind of hinted around this. It really sounds like to me, their mindset is, let's see how teams kind of play us the first 4 or 5 games of the year, and then we'll kind of adjust to it. I feel like that's what their plan is, you know. But he also kind of alluded to that they came out aggressive in the first half and then did it in the second half. But who was responsible for that? That's what I want to know. Felton, what's going on, my man? How are you? What up, Philly? Get Nick off the headset. I'm telling you. Kaylee Ringo, after watching, had a very good game. Needs to work on open field tackling, but overall, very good coverage. Way better than Adoree. I agree. AJ Devontae, yeah, I'm so pissed AJ's demanding a trade. AJ is not demanding a trade. AJ has said nothing about a trade at all. This is all crap speculation and people trying to start shit. They tried to do this in 2023. It's not true. He is not trying to get a trade. He's not asked for a trade. Troy Singleton, what's going on, my man? What's happening? Still think we should attack with scheming up our receivers open better. Yeah, absolutely. It's like they run the same routes. If you look at the all 22, they're always bottled up next to each other too. They don't spread defenses out. People make up rumors. Yeah, he didn't ask for trade, and you know. See, I look at it like my gut feeling on what AJ did was he was the guy. He was the spokesman for what a lot of players on that offense feel. And he spoke up. And he's taking the heat and the bullets and the arrows because he's the one that did it. But the Eagles, they tried to do it last week. Him, Jalen Hurts, they all made suggestions about being more aggressive. And then they went back into that shell. And I think personally, I don't think, and I've not heard anybody say this, but I think AJ Brown's speaking for multiple people. I really do. Mad Tight, thank you for super chat. He goes, "Good morning, my friend. Patulo sounds like he's clueless. He doesn't get challenged. They don't ask questions that you're really wondering. It's like they're all afraid to ask questions. And thank you for that super chat, man. I really, really appreciate that so much. Thank you. We already got 325 people in here. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. Appreciate it. Bringo didn't do so bad. Like him over there over Dory. Me too. Kevin the buffoon clown. I mean, I don't blame Kevin Patulo. Nobody asked him the questions. They didn't ask questions that I would ask. They need to watch the film to see the basic predictable routes we use. Our other teams know where our receivers are going to. No rub routes. This is high school wide receiver routes. I just watched the all 22 of 6 plays of 6 runs by Barkley in the third quarter. You look at those guys, they know exactly where he's going with the ball. They're shooting the gaps. There was a bad miss Mulata block, but it's the players on defense know where he's going. So I just think that in the NFL, when you're one-dimensional, and I say one-dimensional to the point where you're not just running the ball, you're running to one specific area, it's very easy to figure out, and it's very easy to stop. You got to do some other stuff. We need a pass rush. But see the way I look at the offense is everything going wrong with the offense can be fixed. It's fixable. I don't think getting a pass rusher is fixable. I think you have to go out and get one. There were some questions that should have been asked. There were a lot of. I had the 2 big questions I had weren't even sniffed. If Sirianni's calling the plays, I think it's so conservative because Sirianni has an obsession with winning the turnover battle. And that's why I think it is, because we've seen this over the course of 5 years sporadically with him. And I get it. You're up 24-6. You don't expect to be 270-plus yard touchdowns right away. I get it. But in the NFL, when you take the foot off the gas, it's very hard to restart that. So you've got to come out that third quarter, especially that drive, that first drive of that second half. You got to be just as aggressive as you were in the first half. And then if you score a touchdown, then you want to, dial it back some, fine. So, that's how I look at it. I think it's all fixable. And Kyle Martin, man, thank you for the super chat. Congrats on 150K. I remember when you had 38K. Thank you, my man. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much. AJ Devices, I promise you, if he keeps running on first, I'm going to flip. Yeah, I know. Well, it's not even running. Like, I don't mind if you run different places, like run outside or something. But if you run to the same spot on first down when everybody knows, when my chat is calling out the play, and I'm not saying one person, 2 person, when it's like hundreds of people are calling out the play, there's a problem. KP admitted the couch have to do better on the coach. Yeah, well, yeah, but there was no challenge with that. Like, why do you not go against what you're predisposed to do? Like, if you run the ball 90% of the time on first down, don't you think teams are going to know that? Why don't you go away from it? That's a simple question. Skidmore says you can't play scared like this. Besides, even when they are removing it, still didn't run well or pass anything other than 3 routes. Bunched up like a third grader, can see problems in play. It's true. What's up, William? How are you? I think Campbell could be an edge when Dean comes back, and we should be throttling everyone we play. We have a dream team. We have a great team. I hate to say that word dream team. Look, dude, we're 4-0. There's only 2 teams 4-0. And if you look at the Eagles' schedule the next 4 games before the bye week, every one of those games they should win. The toughest game is Denver. Maybe going into Minnesota, it's in Minnesota. But, you should win every one of those games. This team's going to be 8-0. But at the same time, that they can't keep doing what they're doing. The offense is not sustainable. So they've got to fix it. But it's crazy. And Campbell could play some edge. I think that's possible. Edge rusher possibility. How about Cam? Yeah, I think Cam Jordan would be a great one. You know, I think so. I mean, it's probably going to be somebody we're not even thinking or expecting. But if they can come in and help, it would be huge. Campbell's a top 10 linebacker in the NFL. Don't switch the position. Well, I don't think you would do it full time, right? But maybe you do it at certain times to get Dean in the on the field. They aren't scared because is not scared. It's not scared. It's just overly conservative. We need to trade for Kevon Thibodeau. Look, if he's available, I would do it. The question is would the Giants want to do it? That I have no idea. Baron, what's going on? Has to be from a team buried in the standings already. Yeah, I mean, who's really buried? There's not really many teams buried right now. Why don't we get APR back? I don't think he's ready to play. Like, I don't think he's ready to play. So you drink coffee or tea? I don't drink tea. Coffee, yeah, once in a while. I'm trying to get into coffee. It's just I like it hot, and it's too hot outside. I don't like hot drinks when it's not cold. Giants will do it because they give us sparkly. I think they'll be afraid. Saints, yeah. Kevon Thibodeau, I think Thibodeau's all right. Jay Johnson from the Jets. Dude, Jets are going to win this week. Jets are what? 0-4? They're going to beat the Cowboys this week. When we finally get the offense fixed and curtains for Versville, yeah, I agree. The Hurts disrespects need to stop. He averages 21.5 fantasy points game. They hate us because they ain't us. Yeah, they do. I don't even like. Every time I see the Hurts thing, anything about I just ignore it. I don't even listen anymore. Texans are 0-4. Daniel Hunter. There you go. There's going to be guys that pop up that we're not thinking of. We just got to give it some time, Jets 34, Cowboys 20. I got a feeling the Jets are going to win. Yeah, Trevon Walker got hurt. Hey, Philly, constant running on first down is useless. Get that ball to A.J. Smith first. Tap in the slant. Herb Walker's now hurt. Guy from the Dolphins. Then, yeah, no, I hear you. I agree with you on every statement you made. Cam Ward might be a bust. Yeah, it's too early. I'm just hoping Patullo gets a clue and adds some routes and running schemes. Then this would be acceptable because it seems. I think he'll get it done. I think it'll get done. I think the Eagles will fix it on offense. I actually think they're gonna. I think they're gonna beat the crap out of Denver. I think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it may be one of those 38-7 games. I just got a weird feeling Eagles are going to go off. I just do. Just got that feeling. Chester, welcome to Dingbat Nation, my man. Thank you so much. I got to turn the air on. It's freaking hotter than hell in here. Michaela Dean said he'll be back. Oh, you mean N'Kobe Dean? N'Kobe's a player. Vikings, I don't think are that good. I don't think they're that good. I'm worried about the Vikings game. Afraid Wentz will not take it lightly on us. Big revenge game for him. Dude, I don't sweat Carson Wentz at all. 500. Why don't you be offensive coordinator? Yeah, they won't do it. Hey, what's going on, my man? Would you try to trade for Thibodeau or probably Thibodeau? Because the problem with Jalen Phillips is injuries. I don't know where he is, but he's been injured quite a lot, right? So I would probably take my chance on him, Bo Nix usually makes at least 3 risky throws a game, could be picks. Yeah, I actually like Bo Nix, but I think that I don't think he's ready. I got a feeling the Eagles going off this game. See, the Broncos destroyed Bengals. They're feeling good. They won 28-3 or whatever it was. What a horrible 2 Monday Night Football games they had on, man. That was brutal yet last night. Bengals season over. Yeah, it's true. That's true. I hope it's a blowout against the Broncos because the Eagles like to play down a competition. Well, I think the Broncos are a playoff type team. Who do you believe AJ was beef with? I think it's with Nick. And I don't think it's like a personal thing. Like, I don't think he doesn't like Nick. My take is a little different than everybody else. And I'm not saying I know. It's just, I feel like AJ wasn't being like a diva or selfish player. I think he was speaking up for the team. They struggled against, the Rams, came back and won. He talked about, being more aggressive. Jalen talked about being more aggressive. Then they go back into that conservative, we're not going to lose this game in the second half. He feels like the coaches aren't listening to him. And I think there's more than just AJ. I think there's multiple guys on the offense feel that way. I just think he was speaking up to Nick. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wishing for the best, but that's how I feel. I did put the air on, yeah. Hey Jones, what's going on, my man? How are you? Vic Fangio revenge game? Yeah. Hey, what's the pop-up videos of Cooper Gene happens every time I watch it? It's channel member stuff. Philly, did you see Kevin's press conference? He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, I thought it was a bad press conference. The pop-up on the membership I have because when I use this new streaming software, it doesn't light up any member stuff. So it kind of tips me off. I just passed by Mark. He looks better after his tie. Oh God, I've never seen somebody so happy to get a tie. Mike said it's clearly not a selfish thing, but they can tell they're being held back. Look at 2023. You saw them loose and drive, but 2024 there was barely any issues. Yeah, well, I think the run game is a big factor, right? Because you get nothing on the run. When you get those big runs, you feel good. It's kind of hard to complain, but I thought the press conference with Patullo was like the worst thing ever. Like, it was like, there's nobody's asking this guy or challenging him on anything. Good morning, Philly. Internet issues as we're off the grid, but we're here with your brother. Late, but here. Well, Nico, thank you for being here. I told you about Patullo a couple weeks ago. Scared he is going to blame not winning Super Bowl this year. I'm not even sure it's Patullo. That's the whole thing. It could very well be Patullo, but I don't believe I do not believe the same play caller in the first half was the same caller in the second half. You do not work on that game plan all week to go and do what what the Eagles did. They didn't even need the game plan. It was the same thing they've been doing for 2.5 weeks before. No way I believe. There's no way I believe that's the same play caller. I just don't believe it, I swear AJ, the offensive scheme is too basic. Agreed. Yeah, I can understand that, Philly. I don't believe it's the same play caller. I just don't. Ishel, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you. I think you're all right. I think CJ Gardner-Johnson may have been saying the same thing as a team. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. He hasn't posted anything on X at all. I have no idea what's going on with CJ, but let's bring him back. I would love it. And thank you, man, for that super chat. It's so generous of you. Thank you. We got 548 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. Manuel says, liked, and I think I know what's going on with the Eagles. They are winning with what they're doing, but they're showing this. Then all of a sudden, it's going to change, and we'll get what we're looking for. Yeah, I do think that there is some of that possible because Patullo alluded to the fact that we kind of want to see what defenses are doing to us early in the year, which makes me think that they're waiting to adjust. Unless it's Nick putting his input as always. I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I watched that game again. I'm like, there's no way these are the two same play callers. I just don't believe it. 14-year-old girls and dumbass tweets. Men talk to their teammates and coaches. Sorry if little guys don't understand that. Well, I get it, but what if you talk to them? What if you talk to them and they're not really hearing it, right? I'm not saying what AJ Brown. I'm not saying AJ Brown should have gone to public with it. I agree with that, but I think I know why he did it. Because if you make a big deal of it, you make it a whole public spectacle. They're more apt to have to kind of force the coaches to kind of have to deal with what is being said and talk to them about it. So I kind of think it's kind of smart. You know, it may not be the right thing to do, but it's going to get the job done. And I have a feeling this week the offense explodes and they put a beat on Denver. Chris Dog, thank you for the super chat. He goes, yo, what are your thoughts on Nick about AJ's tweet? Nick didn't really say anything about it, but he's got to address it. He was like, oh, I understand. Philly, isn't it odd though Patullo has seen the ups and downs and has yet to correct them? Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, why is that not being asked, like, in the press conference? Like, you run the ball 90-some% of the time out of I formation. Why don't you ever change up? If teams know your tendencies and the percentage of what you do on first down, on second down, where you run, like, why don't you change them up? It's not even, nobody even asks it. Because I would love to hear what he's going to say. I'm telling the Eagles are going to lose a game for them to find. Yeah, it might take that, It might take losing to a team you shouldn't lose to, a bad week, playing bad ball, and then wake up. It might take that. You're right. Sometimes the loss can be actually very helpful, Shizo, thank you for the super chat. He goes, reward negative behavior. He'll continue to act out and get his way. Oh, was smooth in the first half with everybody touching. Force it to him with the PS2 on him. Well, I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do? I don't think that the tweet, I don't think it's as big of a deal as everybody's making it. I really don't. It's not like T.O. coming out there and trashing his players, his quarterback, or a lot of the things that we've seen. Even Jamar Chase last night was yelling at the coaches on the sideline. I don't think it's as bad as that, but I don't think that AJ Brown just did that on a whim. I think that there was a purpose behind it. It's not what everybody thinks though. Hasn't stopped the teams from doing it, so we'll see. Antonio Holmes, no one is overlooking Denver. No. I'm still pissed off. I lost like 4 years of memory. What? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have to talk to YouTube. Try to get it back. If I smart, go Eagles. It's certainly possible that Jalen Hurts got a concussion after the slide hit. He didn't complete a pass the second half, and they called passing plays 3 straight to AJ Brown 1 third. Yeah, but those 3 passing plays were like dumb. Like they were like trying to force it. There was nothing there, and it was almost like we're gonna throw you the ball so you shut up. It was like that kind of thing. So I could understand why that would frustrate him. I do think Jalen Hurts was hurt though. I do. He gets up. You look at him get up. He is not. He's holding his head. He's wobbling. Like I do think that played a part in the second half. We may be witnesses to strategic stupidity, which is a form of genius, right? Exactly. Well, you know what? He did the same thing 2 years ago. If you guys remember, before he got another contract extension, the year of the collapse, he did the same thing. I hate to say it, I think we were mad at the wrong guy. The 10 runs in a row conservatorship is Nick. I agree. I kind of agree. That's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna. Why didn't they ask who's calling the plays in the second half? Who called the plays in the first half? Why did you go away from your game plan that you prepared for all week, which you put out in the first half? Why did you go back to your basic conservative play calling in the second half? I would love to know it. 500 is it 10 o'clock for you? What time did you wake up for the stream? Yeah, it's 10 o'clock for me. I've been up since 5. I left the house today at 6, came back at 9:30, and then I'll head back out. 500 is a problem if we give up 100 yards rushing. Not all the time. Not all the time. AJ has made over 200 million and has been 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. He needs to be a captain, and man, not spoiled 14-year-old tweet girl. Sorry, it's totally anti-Philly to act out. Hey, listen, it happens. And let me say this: if they change the offense and it begins to change, we might be looking back on this tweet going, "There you go, it worked." Personally, I don't like the tweet. I don't think you should put it out there. What he said in the tweet and what the tweet says, he did the total opposite. I would not have put that out there, but he did. He did. You know, you mentioned about losing to a team you shouldn't. I hope and pray it's not the Giants. Yeah, me too. Facts, AJ hasn't been separated, and the O-line has been pretty bad. They're going to blow out Denver. I know, they're going to crush this shit out of Denver. Shizzle, thank you for the super chat. Do you hear Smith complaining? Nope. He took a backseat and contracts and production for the team. That's the difference. He should be complaining the most. Yeah, but he ain't gonna. It's just not his personality. Plus, here's the thing. I'm not so sure that A.J. Brown isn't speaking for Devontae also. You know, you don't think those guys are friends? They don't have conversations? I think A.J. might be speaking for the offense as a whole. Michaela Cox says, I agree, his head bounced off the ground. It looked terrible. He got up and he was wobbly. I was surprised he didn't come out of the game. But I do think that could have thrown him off. I do. They definitely opened up the playbook in the playoffs last year. Well, especially in the Super Bowl. I said it for weeks. Sirianni is a problem. That's my thought too. Being conservative when you're up 21 points is okay. Blowing 2 play coverages for 14 points on D is a killer. Yeah, and I think Nick would say, well, we didn't count that there were going to be basically 270 plus yard plays in 2 series in a row in which they get 14 points and back in the game. He never would have thought that was going to happen. But I think that's why you can't just bury a half. Like, you want to be conservative, like, nothing wrong with being conservative and safe. But I think that opening drive, you've got to stay aggressive. Like, if they go down the opening drive and score a touchdown, the game's over. It's 31 seconds over. Then you can do what you want to do. Why do you all continuously keep blaming Nick? I have my gut feeling tells me that Nick calls the plays and takes them at times. And the reason I say that is because when Nick has called the plays in the past, it's been conservative. We saw that the first year. We've seen it the second year. Third year, he didn't do it. Then he did it a little bit at the beginning of last year. And then he did it in 2023. And then I have a feeling he's doing it now. Especially when he said Patullo called the plays in the second half. But kind of insinuated he did it in the first half. So that's why I think that. The King family, thank you for the super chat. He goes, it wasn't any reason to switch play callers a half because they were winning. I think Nick definitely has his fingerprints in the playbook. But if you look at the game plan, right, they work on the game plan all week. We saw it in the first half. In the second half, it looked like they scrapped the game plan and went to their, hey, we're going to just not make any mistakes calling. How would they know in the second half they were going to be up so far that they could play that conservative? Shizzo, thank you for super chat. He goes, everybody touched the ball in the first half. Hurts was 15 of 16. 15 of 16 passing in the first half. He was 8 of 9 against the blitz. Okay, and offense got stale. He starts forcing it to AJ, and AJ was tweeting on the Titans with Henry. I don't know if AJ was tweeting on the Titans with Henry. I don't know. But I could tell you this, it didn't look like the same play caller. Yeah, I complained about this. They ran Saquon. He gets up slow. They run him again. Same spot, right? And then when you have a 3rd and 2, and it's the perfect time to run like a draw, they don't. And it's just crazy. And thank you for those super chats, by the way. We've got 584 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate it. I know we're off to an early start today, and that's okay. I'm down with that. Let me see here. I hope Reed Blankenship knows that he's not coming back next year, and he needs to be talking to the coaches and managers so he can get CJ Gardner-Johnson back, because CJ makes him look better. I think he thinks he's getting a contract extension. Two things can be true. I love AJ and he's absolutely justified for feeling that way, but dumb keep in house. Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying I think he should have put that out there. I think that what he put out there was exactly what that quote said don't do. But I just wonder if it was more calculated. Like, everybody assumes it's a frustration thing. I think it's more calculated than that. I think he's pretty smart. I think it was more calculating, you know? Then they keep running Barkley up the middle and not the edges at all. They don't. Skid Mark says, Jihad is a special player. He's the biggest issue is he's trouble getting off the blocks. That's why I believe the run defense is not that good. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's fine. You know, you got to remember, he's still a rookie, too. Getting off the block, he'll learn that. He'll recognize things on the offense and where he's got to be a lot better as he gets experience. Green Blaze the Fly Eagle, thank you for the super chat, my man. That's very generous of you. I really appreciate it. See, Patullo is a young offensive coordinator trying to coach a Super Bowl winning offense. However, instead of getting an experienced offensive coordinator that within a year goes somewhere else, let's see what Kevin can do with this offense. And I appreciate that super chat, my man. We are going to find out. CZ says, Mouse, I think it started with, you're talking about Mouse. Keeley analysis is he just had trouble tackling, but his coverage and positioning was vastly improved. Yeah. Well, he doesn't give up. Look, he misses tackles. I'm not saying he's got to work on it. But Adoree Jackson, he gets stiff arm, and the amount of yards after the catch with Adoree Jackson is crazy. And I'll say this. I'm a little surprised that Tampa didn't try to pick on him more. It was like, why didn't they try to pick on him more? That was a little interesting. 500 will be dancing his ass off in the Super Bowl halftime show. Yes, I will. Well, I'll be changing the channel on the halftime show. I don't watch the halftime show. His sticker says he's not playing well. Vita Vea will do that. Cam Jurgens' bad snap was huge in the second half. The Eagles driving. I don't think Dickerson has been good. I don't think Dickerson's healthy, and I think that they brought him back too soon. And eventually he'll start playing better, and they'll get better. All the offensive problems that we're talking about, to me, I think it's all going to be fixed. I think when we're sitting there in December, we're going to be looking back at this, barely remembering this even happened. I don't think this is a huge issue. I actually think the more important issue that people aren't talking about is that edge rushers are not getting home. And I know Vic was like, I don't think they've been bad, but I don't think you're getting enough off the edge. Chris Kaufman, man, thank you for super chat. Because I think Reed and DeJean need to drop the podcast. Well, what are they going to do if one of them leaves? Yeah, Adoree Jackson stinks. If he's talking or quiet, they will make a story about it. Yeah. Yeah, Dickerson does not look good. He needs a few weeks breaks. He had a chance. If they would have sat him out in that Dallas game, that would have been good. But if they would have sat him out the Kansas City game, that would have been just as good. Because then you would have had the mini bye after the Thursday night game. And then you would have had then you wouldn't have had him play again till Tampa or till the Rams game. That would have been huge. And you know what? I'll be honest. If he's banged up this week, you're playing an AFC team. This isn't like you lose a game like this. It doesn't kill you. I would put on tiebreaker. It doesn't hurt you a tiebreaker. I'm saying. So I would sit him out. Hearn says, I'm still impressed with KP going against Spags, Eberflus, and Shula and Boyles as his first year of his coordinator. Yeah, I don't expect it to be what we want, but he's still winning more. So the players. Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing. I don't think I've ever seen an offense that could look as inept as the Eagles have looked, and you're still 4-0. It's crazy to me. And I know people panic that this is 2023 all over again. This is not 2023. 2023 was a defensive problem. You were flawed defensively. The coach panicked. He fired the coordinator. Then now a new coordinator came in, tried to change the defense, and you had no chance. This is not that. Peter Riley, what's going on? What about Philly Shakedown halftime show? Maybe. Also, our O-line has not been the same. Play calling will always look bad when not executed. This true. Where's the real men? Have some nuts and speak up. I hear that. Kelly Ringler needs to learn the sideline never misses a tackle. He keeps making the same outside. Yeah, it's true. That is definitely true. Question, what would keep Vic from having N'Kobe and Bourne at linebacker and Jot at edge? Nothing. I think it's something they're going to try. I just don't think you can. I don't think they're going to do it full time. Like, I don't think you're going to move Jahad Campbell full time. They want him to learn one position. But I do think at times they may do it. No, this doesn't. No, the 2023 collapse started with the defense. It was a defensive problem, you know, and then it trickled down to the offense as the season just collapsed. But to me, that was a defensive problem. It was a defensive problem that got magnified that the coach fired the defensive coordinator way too soon. I thought I heard where that Nick admitted that he called the first half Rams. Yeah, he said something to the effect. I don't know if he came out flat said it, but it sure like sounded like that. Maybe it's just me, but did anyone else notice Dean running with the limp on the sideline after he blocked the field goal? I didn't notice the limp. I noticed he was running, but I didn't notice the limp. He's still probably like a week or two away before he can even get activated. Tacklers got off. The first two drives of the playoff game against the Bucs, they missed like 15 tackles. In the first two drives, and they were done. They were done. 2023, every third and long, I'd say us right now. Yeah, they had it right where they wanted. It was a defensive problem in 2023 more than anything. This isn't that. This is. I actually think now. I actually kind of think the Eagles' game plan was, we're going to do this. This is what we're going to do offensively first month, 5-6 weeks of the season. And we're going to see how defenses play us, and then we're going to adjust. I think that's what we're seeing. Martin, thank you for the super chat. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much. Hey, 500, how you doing? I'm doing great, my man. How are you? Do you think this is all part of the master plan, and this is dumb play calling is just a bluff? It's so frustrating off topic. Have you seen Mobland? I haven't seen Mobland yet. I do want to watch it. I actually got like a bunch of shows I'm watching. Tulsa King started up. This Task show on HBO I'm really digging. So I will check that out though. Yeah, I saw Tariq Hill get hurt. Ugh. I saw Dean limping, but I think he was skipping excitedly. Campbell interception. Yeah, I didn't notice. I'll have to go back. They could technically activate him next week. Yes, Jacoby, he's on PUP, so it's 4 weeks minimum emphasis. Yeah, so he's getting ready. Couple more weeks. He probably will get called up and need what, maybe a week or two. So he's getting ready. Go Eagles, yeah. Rocco says, is there any way we can make Nick inactive for the game? Get the offense to look better. Yeah. Listen, I understand what Nick's saying. We've won 20 of 21 games. Okay? When Hurts doesn't turn the ball over, we win. I mean, it's true. It's true. And if you win the turnover battle, most of the time you'll win. However, you have too many killers on this team. You have too many guys, in my opinion, that are killers. And you need to be a little more risk averse, in my opinion. There's a time to, like I said, you're up 24-6 at halftime. Let's say you go down that first drive of the third quarter. You take 5-6 minute drives, take it off the clock. You score a touchdown, 31-6. Game's over. Now you want to start in that fourth quarter, go into that conservative stuff, it wouldn't have been a problem. I think this year's D has the potential to form into a better D than last year, but Jalen Carter's shoulder is a huge factor. It is. Fangio, what he said was that the shoulder injury flares up in game. So it'll start bothering him, they'll take him out, and then it calms down and he can go back in until it flares up. So it sounds like it's really just an annoying injury. Where the slants or AJ pass, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's two things on offense. You know, being over conservative. Well, I'll say three things: being overly conservative all the time, and then, just keep going with the same tendencies. And what I mean by that is like you run the same spot on the same downs. Okay, 96% of the time under center. If Hurts goes under center, you run the ball. You don't play action fake. You don't do anything like that. And then three, I don't think you got one play caller. I think you have multiple play callers. That's what I think. Nick has PTSD from 2023. Hurts had a bunch of turnovers last year. Maybe that's why it was so good. It was because remember the first 4 weeks of the year, Hurts had a bunch of turnovers. And then once those turnovers stop, we go on a winning streak. But the difference is your running game is not working right now. I don't think it's one thing. I think it's a bunch of things. You know? A Mayday says, did Nick call plays by memory because he didn't have a play call sheet when they put the camera on him? Well, yeah, you remember in the Super Bowl, he does the same thing, telling him to run a dagger. He has no play. He's telling him go up there and run it. He knows what he wants to run. And maybe, when you run, the same 2 running plays over and over again, you don't need a call sheet for that. He's calling like 5 plays. And you don't need a call sheet for it. Think about it. What do you need a call sheet when you run 2 offensive run plays and 3 passing plays? So you got to run 5 plays. You can remember 5 plays. You don't need a call sheet. Hazard, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, how do you feel about Quinion falling? Oh, I think it's a must. I think it's a must. Even if you play zone, just have him in front of the best guy is huge. I think Quinion Mitchell's badass, dude. Fire was real one. I like how he handles. Thanks. A.J. Brown, yeah, I think A.J. Brown, monster game. I think the Eagles are going to blow the crap out of this. Pause. No diddy. I think they're going to blow out the Denver Broncos. Are you talking to Mark and Salito? If they invite me on, I'll go on. Mark's going to be all in his feelings, all happy. He thinks Dak Prescott's the greatest quarterback ever now. I don't think Dak's having a great year like everybody's saying. I think he had a great game against Green Bay. Thought he stunk against the Eagles. I thought he stunk for Chicago. And I thought he was okay versus the Giants. Dallas is 1-2-1. And they could very well be 0-4. They could very well be 0-4. King family, thank you so much for super chat. Vincent Campbell wasn't ready to play edge earlier, and one thing we know about Vic is he tells no lies. So they aren't putting him at edges. Well, no, he didn't say that. He said, not yet, but it could happen when Dean comes. We don't know yet. He won't put him there full time. He's not going to put him there full time. But if but maybe on occasions, maybe you do it on certain plays. I don't think that's going to stop. Like, that's not going to cure the Eagles' problem at edge. They've got to go out of the building to get an edge rusher. Like we're talking about the offense a lot, but the truth is that's fixable in-house. The edge rusher is not. You need to trade for the edge rusher. Warv, thank you for the super chat, my man. This is not 2023, but some characters are similar as far as being predictable in offense, like when CMC was calling out plays on TV and ignoring problems because we were winning ugly. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's not sustainable right now. And I would be more nervous if we were 10-1. If we were week 11, week 12, I agree. But if you remember last year, the first 4 games, you're 2-2. It was kind of the same thing. We were talking about the same things. The only difference last year was that Barkley was running the ball way better. And why? Because defenses didn't know how to play the Eagles exactly then, right? And the offensive line was playing a lot better. So I think it masked some of it. But this was kind of going on last year too early on. You've got to make the adjustment. Now, you got to make the adjustment. If it gets to week 12 and we're still doing this, it's a problem. Listen, I got people on my chat. I mean, tons of people calling out the plays. So, it is a problem. In my opinion, the best surprise of the season has been All-Pro Jordan Davis. Yeah, me too. My MVP of the Eagles this year so far is Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis has been great. G Money says, "One love from Philly. Philly, how's it doing, Denzel?" It's good, man. How are you? We got 623 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it so very much. We're hanging out today. K. Robinson, what's going on? It is a bunch of things, including O-line needs to be better. Yeah, I don't think, at the end of the day, it's never one thing, right? It's never just one thing. It's always a bunch of things. That's true. That's just the truth. Everyone said Vic Fangio doesn't like trail receivers. Sucks that the cornerback's 2 spot is so bad that it's forced his hand. But I love Fangio blitzing and doing whatever is best for the defense. Well, one of the things was that they were going to make Q be able to play both sides this year anyways. So I think it's good. 500, do you think Nick is smart enough to make adjustments throwing the ball down? Yeah, I do. I think Nick is smart enough, and I think he has enough respect for his players to listen to them. I do. I do. I think it's ever going to be like the Los Angeles Rams with Kurt Warner back. No, it's never going to be to that level. But I do think he'll give a lot more. And I do think they will adjust, and they will figure it out. And once they do that, I think the rest of the league is in trouble. I actually think the next 4 weeks, we're getting the perfect teams to kind of get this thing going. Eaglesvania, thank you for the super chat. He might not call the plays, but Nick says when. Shaking my head. That's true. Broncos are playing sound defense. I expect it to be another close game with Bo Nix losing a turnover battle and thus losing game Broncos. You might be right. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Eagles are going to blow the crap out of this team. And I'm just saying it. I'm not saying Denver's not a good team. I just got this feeling. It's going to happen. Like, I have a feeling like all the frustrations on the offense, some of it has just been like bad play calling, too conservative, offensive line troubles, and some of it is you just missed. You've just been missing on certain things. At some point, I feel like the Eagles' offense is a volcano ready to explode, and I think it's going to be this week. We had a lot of success going to the Titans in the first half. Didn't try to throw it in the Titans after that. No, they didn't. I don't think the Titans got one pass in the second half. You can play vanilla, but there's still very good basic routes and runs. It's taking what the D gives. Routes specific areas, zone blitzes, routes, beat man one side. There's so much they can do. I know, and they don't do it. And that's what you got to ask yourself. Why? Why is it when you look at all 22, you got 2 receivers in the same vicinity? And like, and then you got other areas where there's just nobody. Kyler Saunders says 500. I think Nick and the coaches are too humble. They thought they had this game in hand, took the pedal off the gas instead of going full time. Yeah, I think so too. I think they thought they won the game 24-6. They were way up, and I think they said that we can just go back in our shell, and they didn't expect the Buccaneers to score a 76-yard pass and then like a 71-yard or something. If Bucks don't get those two big plays, and they got to go down the field, there's not enough time. So, yeah, I agree. This could be another game where AJ's frustrated if they don't get the fix because he's going to be against Patrick Surtain. So you get popcorn ready. AJ's going to go off, man. Don't worry. Smitten versus Patrick. Listen, last time Devontae Smith went up against Surtain, he killed him. He crushed him. That was his best at the time. That was Devontae's best game of his career. O-line was better last year. Yeah, well, it's not playing as well right now. That doesn't mean it won't get going. I think a lot of that has to do with injuries. Skidmark says, my reason for hope with Patullo is we have not thrown a seam route for the tight end forever and is learning just slowly. I thought the first half, the red zone calls, the little shuffle passes, the little pitch out to Bart. I thought that they did some really good things, especially in the red zone. Plays that were really well designed. So it just tells me they can do it. They can do it if they want. Yeah, Smitty made that insane catch. Remember, he had a bad elbow too. Yep. What do you think Smitty's best game is now? Well, I don't know. I don't know what it would be yards wise. If we're talking yards and catch wise, I don't know which game that would be. If I had to say game most importance, obviously Super Bowl. The thing with Devontae is Devontae comes up big when you need to. Smith had 10 catches, 165 yards, and 2 touchdowns last meeting. Yeah, at the time, that was his best. Well, I'm getting all these YouTube things about they're changing stuff again. So they're doing more changes to the algorithm that will just screw me more. Thank you so much, YouTube. I just appreciate it. Bastards. What is the Eagles fan base mad about today? We're mad at everything. We're in a great position in the NFC East. Just got to keep climbing. Agreed. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to panic about, anything to be worried about. The 4 teams that you have to compete for the conference, you've already beaten 2 of them. You're 2 games up in the division, and I don't think Washington's that good. I don't think they're that good. Yeah, the Smitty game versus Washington, I remember that. I don't know if this was his best game, but my favorite Smitty game was against the Bucks in the playoffs. Team gave up, but Smitty did. Yeah, the playoff game that the Bucks killed us. The only guy that showed up that day was Devontae Smith. I would like to see Ty Robinson and Jordan Davis playing together. Jalen Carter on the end. We haven't seen anything to do with Robinson, either with Azeez Ojulari. Now, Vic Fangio said today that the reason Ojulari hasn't played is because it has to do with special teams. So, you think they're going to bring offense? No telling. I think if they do, that's the first signs that they're not happy with the offense. So I'm going to say no. So do you think Hurts might have a mild concussion? I did. Yeah, I think he was definitely concussed. Dude, he got up. He was not well. He was not well when he got up. Here's the thing. Has there been other offenses that look incompetent when passing it in the league? Don't understand why when our backups go in and play, we have masterclass play callings with answers. I don't know. I think there are a lot of teams that just constantly stink in everything they do. It's like, to me, what goes on with the Eagles offense is of the Eagles doing. 500, this happens every year since even Wentz and Doug. We have the training wheels on every September and loosen them up in October, then it takes off November. Yeah, I agree. I have zero worries either. Like I said, my biggest concern is the edge rusher. I just think with Nolan Smith out, yet not having a sack the first 3 weeks, who's getting pressure? Who's getting your sacks? I think that's the bigger problem, because I don't know that you can fix that with what's on your team. Go make a move for a pass rusher. We're going to bring the house for Parsons. Yeah, I mean they tried to get Parsons. That should tell you. I hope McDaniels gets fired if we have him offensive coordinator. My gosh, yeah, I agree with that. Jihad is a baller. 3 turnovers forced in 3 games. Remember Q and Coop, no intercepted till play. Yep, agreed. We play sloppy football. That's our signature. Laugh out. Never pretty stellar when except for the Super. Yeah, it's true. Concerned is defense concerned. Defense has been good. I can't complain about the defense except for the fact that I think you need another edge rusher. Who on the edge would you go after that no one is talking about besides Walker? I don't know, because I don't know who's available. That's the problem. Is right now I don't think enough teams are out of it. Now you got Texans. They're what, 0-4? Are they 0-4? The Jets are 0-4. So I think a few more weeks, I think we'll start to see names emerge. But I mean, I think they need another edge rusher. Kevon Thibodeau is interesting because he's got 1 year left on his deal, I think, and he's got upside. What do you think about Drew Brees said about the Eagles and what a loser? I don't care what Drew Brees has to say. I could care less. Mr. Deacon Dunk himself. Jalen Hurts would never request a trade being 4-0, even if he does throw for 100 yards a game. No, he won't. You have a lucky jersey or item. If so, wear it weekend, and if it works, to change it. Whatever I wore last week, or since they win, I keep wearing. And then when they lose, I change up. Philly, if we don't hurry, Detroit, Green Bay, Buffalo going to tear us apart. I don't think Green Bay can beat us. I don't think Detroit can beat us. But Detroit is the closest because they got a good offense. But I don't think they got a good defense. I don't think Green Bay can beat us too. I think Green Bay is way overrated. I even overrated Green Bay. I didn't realize how bad that secondary was. But I don't think Nigel. I don't think either of them are going to beat us. If Buffalo beats us, it'll be at the end of the year, a non-tiebreaker type thing. I think we'll be all right. But we do got it. We do got to fix things, though. I'm not saying we don't. We definitely have to fix things. You just do. Let me see here. 3,500 just in. KP was calling plays in the first half, and Nick was calling second half. Well, show me where you got that from, because I listened to whatchamacallit, and I didn't hear anything like that. My guy, you beat the Giants. Calm down, right? We already beat the most hard teams. We did. How about Ravens? Man, I picked the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl, play the Eagles. That was bad. They're bad, dude. Anyone could beat us on any given week if we were talking odd. No, Eagles are playing C- football and being some of the best teams. Yeah, we haven't peaked yet. O-line is blocking people, not moving them. That's the main issue of the running game. Yep. Ravens trash. They are trash. Well, what the hell's wrong with the Ravens, man? It's crazy. And then what's his face takes himself out of the game. What'd you guys think about that? That was kind of crazy. That was really kind of crazy. And speaking of crazy, I'm going to show you something That isn't crazy. ProfitX is the ultimate sports prediction market. Dive into peer-to-peer plays, create your own odds, and face off with fellow fans for bigger thrills and better payouts through exciting sweepstakes. Legal in 40 states. It's the smartest way to play. Get started now with promo code Philly500 and score up to $200 in ProfitX cash. That's $200 in ProfitX cash. Just use promo code Philly500. Let me know how it goes. You must be of legal age. Void where prohibited. All right, I got to show you guys my play for this week, and I've kind of hinted around it already. The Eagles are 4-point favorites. They're 4-point favorites at Denver. They will cover that. They are going to blow this team out. They may score 43.5 points themselves. I got the Eagles. I'm taking them. If you like that, go check out ProfitX. Get $200 in ProfitX cash. Just use promo code Philly500. I think we're blowing this team out, dude. But that's cool. Mahomes has been in the league longer. Is Bob still crying? I've never seen a guy so upset at another team. Like, dude, we've really affected Bob. Bob is dreaming about the Eagles all the time. I know it. You know it. Bob knows it. That 40 burger really left it. Yeah, I mean, he's really. Lane, they're saying what? Lane has a shoulder injury now? So Lane has a shoulder injury now. I don't know what to make of that, except hopefully he's going to be okay. But this was the second time he's done that. You know what I mean? It looked like they gave Roger Goodell the headset in the second half of the Bucs game, right? You're not sure about blowouts. Sertan is a beast. He ain't going to be a beast this week. I'm calling it now. Eagles blowing out the Broncos. Major Pages 500, get your brooms ready. We are sweeping the division. You're damn right we are. Well, you guys said Dynasty last. Who are we talking about? I understand that you weren't love this child. Oh, you guys are talking about Bob. Fred Johnson is a bad. He can hold it down for Lane. No, he isn't bad, but I mean, I think having Lane in there, especially when you've already got the injuries that you have, with your offensive line, you want him. The amount of shots I've taken for Dak's drop picks this year is making me look like Mark. Can you believe this guy hasn't thrown how does every time a team play Dak Prescott, he get away with all these interceptions? I've never seen a guy get away with the amount of interceptions that Dak Prescott gets away with. Dude should have at least 12 interceptions right now. I'm not even joking. The Eagles dropped, 4 of them? The Giants dropped 3. The Bengals, the Bears dropped 4 or 5. I mean, I'm not talking about almost. I'm talking about you had that. How could you drop that? It's the weirdest thing. Well, what is the report? I'm seeing. Remember when it went down? But I haven't heard anything about him. No injury. We haven't heard anything. Love your show, but it's Kevin. What do you think is Kevin? What's Kevin? You think the problems are all Kevin? I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. But I do not believe that, and nobody's going to convince me, nobody, that play calling in the second half was the same guy in the first half. I don't believe in it. I don't believe that. Nobody's going to convince me. What are the odds we block a kick 500? I don't know. We did it the last 2 weeks. We'll see. Philly, I got a feeling we go undefeated. Man, I don't know, man. I almost want us to at least have one loss, out of the way. 500. Matt Pryor. Fred Johnson makes Matt Pryor look like Matt, a guy with no arms, no legs on the torso. I know. You're right. Like a doormat. Yeah. Look at the interview with Jalen Hurts after the Bucks game. What about it? But when he talks about being aggressive, you think we aren't showing our hand, Philly? No, I don't think it's that. I think that they've fallen into this ultra conservative route. I also think that they are waiting to see how teams play them week to week to kind of start to adjust. Are you even reading the comments? I'm reading as many comments as I can, Tristan, but it can't see everything. It's impossible for me to answer every comment. I'm only one person with two eyes, and they don't work very well. 500, do you think we rushed Dickerson, Lane Johnson? But yes, 100%. Not sure if you answered this. Do you think Hurts was concussed? I did. Yeah, I do think he was concussed. I definitely do. For what do you call a guy with no arms, legs, and a pile leaves? What? I don't know. What do you call him? We aren't sure our hand like we always play vanilla like this September. Do you believe in the process of our young team is going to work in the next few? I do. I think it's going to get better. Thank you, Renaud. I appreciate that because I don't know what he was bitching about. Brian Johnson, Burns for the Giants or Thibodeau would be good. Well, they won't. It won't be Burns. They're not going to trade Burns. However, Russell. Oh God. However, I think Thibodeau's the guy. Definitely. I thought Philly 500 meant you had 500 eyes. No, dude. I probably have like 10, 50 vision. If Denver loses more, Nick Benito is in last year of his rookie deal. He's an option to trade for. Watch him. He's worth a second round pick. Okay. Josh says, notice Patullo didn't talk for coordinator's press. No, he did talk. He just didn't say anything interesting. They definitely they didn't ask him any questions, any good questions. Well, I just don't know what are you asking me, Tristan? What was the question? What did I miss? Money Man, what's going on? Philly, remember in 24 we played this in September. We played sloppy versus the Pax, Falcons, Saints. Then got blown out by the Bucks. Same issues in 23 and 22. Kept taking. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. What do you call Alabama Nola in a ditch? Phil? Oh, Phil. Gotcha. 500 is power level, which is pretty good for a human. I don't know what you mean. You and Joey are same, always taking questions too serious. I don't even know what you mean. I don't. What question? I thought you said I missed a question. I'm trying to answer, man. I'm trying to do the best I can. If I were to get your Bruins ready for Sleepy Division, right? I agree. If Nick calls the plays, then he exclusively only calls horrible plays and only inserts himself to frustrate players. Howie and Laurie would have fired if that were true. Well, they didn't fire him, but they took the play. But they've taken the play calling away from Nick like 3 times, and somehow he ends up getting it back all the time. So we know that it's been a problem before. And maybe you're right. Maybe Nick's not calling the plays. But how do you explain the first half and the second half of that game? That does not look like the same play caller to me at all. I just can't believe it. I cannot believe that's the same play caller. Hurts will outplay Mahomes in a third time. Of course he will. You didn't miss on. They didn't ask him any good questions. I don't care which morons calls the plays. Just use one who is most successful. Yeah, me too. That's how I feel. Yeah, they do need to figure out how to get him going. What do you call a guy with no arms and legs in a pool? Bob from KZ. Hurts has outplayed Mahomes, and yeah, he did. The only coach I can listen to is Vic. Everyone else just tells you a bunch of crap, and they don't push the questions. They're all softball questions. Like I mean, I just can't believe nobody said asked who called the plays. I can't believe they didn't challenge him on that. That's why I'm like, people need to stop over-exaggerating saying this is a 23, this happens all the time. Because one, we always have a new offensive coordinator. Two, we bench our starters preseason. September is our preseason. K-Guns, you are 100% right. And when people keep talking that it's 2023, don't even listen to it. 2023 was not because the offense. 2023 was the defense was bad, really bad. I mean, like worse in the league, bad. And then the coach panicked and fired the defensive coordinator that just put everything in a chaos. This is not 2023. You do not have to worry about thinking that, dude. Wow, Lamar's going to be out for 2-3 weeks. Crazy, is he? They're done, dude. They're done. Favorite offensive coordinator of all time? You mean for the Eagles? I don't know. I have to think about that. It'd probably be somebody probably under the Reed era. It's been the same since 22. Boring. You won't pull your hair out, but it's effective. No, and it's not fully going to change, but it can get better. J-Mac said he don't ask tough questions because the Eagles will pull their. They will. That's what I heard. They will pull their press pass. Yeah. You know, but I still think you got to try to sneak one in. So I believe you were onto something about being two different play callers between halves. You're just not going to convince me it's the same guy. They didn't work on that game plan all week in the first half, and then the second half that was their game plan. No, they scrapped the game plan they had during the week and went into that ultra conservative role where they call like 5 plays. Steichen was really good, yeah. Steichen was good. Well, I'm thinking, you guys think maybe like Brad Childress or something? I mean, they had some good offensive coordinators under Reed. The Eagles gave the NFL the blueprint to beat Kansas City. They did. No, I just think I still think they're just figuring it out. That's all. I just think they're figuring it out. And they will. They will figure it out. It will get resolved. I have no doubt. Yeah, Maury was he was all right. Barkley and Graham daughters have a talk show. Go to the Eagles channel. They interview AJ Brown. That's cool. I would not bring back Doug. Here's my thoughts. I've said this before to people. You bring Doug Peterson, the head coach who won your first Super Bowl in franchise history. That's like if you ever watch Rocky 2, when Rocky retires and starts carrying around the spit bucket. You don't do that. You don't put him there. Oh, so on the Broncos, I'm going to have a good sleep on the Broncos because we are going to blow them out. I love Lane, but I hope he don't come into Peters and come here. Yeah, come out for the next 2 games. I agree. Yeah, Frank Reich was good too. I mean, we've had some good ones. What do you think about Vic saying the kicking balls are juiced? Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? But it wouldn't be surprising. Where did the NFL get all of a sudden these guys are putting 68-yard field goals like it's nothing? Like, when did that happen just like all of a sudden? How could you have like all these guys at the same time can do it now? I think he's telling you exactly the truth. Imagine if we had Kellen Moore for another year, the team would be fine. Oh, it would have been awesome. This hat you have on is probably my favorite one so far. I've seen many of this. Oh, this one? Yeah, I like this one. Broncos have the most sacks and pressure rate in NFL Philly. I'm just kidding, Andrew. I'm just kidding. I just got a feeling they're going to beat the crap out of them. I'm not saying the Broncos aren't good, but they're coming off Monday Night Football, so it's a short week. Then they got to fly east, right? It's harder to fly east than west. Okay, so that screws them up. Then they got to play the defending champs who are pissed off. I think it's a bad spot for them. I think the coaching needs to be shaken up and get Kevin Patullo needs to go up to Skybox with Vic. Yeah, maybe you're right. Do you think the analytics team getting involved? We've had the issues before. Remember last year when Hertz was there too? Too many voices. How can that be? I think that where the analytics gets involved is where you see the Eagles and what they like to do. You know, they run 96% of the time out of I formation. They run on first down. I think that's where the analytics is coming. They're just doing those things, and everybody is kind of already tipped off because they do it so often, but they're just following the analytics. I do think that's where that comes in at. Vince Sumer ain't getting his job back. I love Letu as a fullback. He makes great blocks. And he blocks field goals, right? I mean, punts. Yeah, I like him too. Nick find a way to screw it up. I think Kevin did a great job calling plays for. He did. I agree, Tristan. But what happened in the second half? Like, was that him calling plays? Like, how do you change that dramatically? That's the thing that in my head I can't understand. Like, I can't understand it, dude. How is that the same guy calling plays? Somebody tell me that. Eagles are the best roster in the NFL. Agreed. Sorry, 500. I meant to say I love Lane, and I hope he don't turn Jason Pierce coming in. No, I hear you. 500. You should be able to lock your coordinators for at least 3 years unless they get fired. What do you think? It'd be nice, but I mean, I just think that if a guy gets a chance to get promoted, there's 32 NFL spots to be a head coach. You get an opportunity for that. I don't think a team should be able to stop a guy from that. It would be nice, but for the team. But I just think that you can't prevent them from doing that. Keith Jackson, why don't you grace us with your amazing question? Keith Jackson, the tight end, the former Eagle. I loved Keith Jackson back in the day. Keith Jackson was the man back in the day. I love Keith Jackson. I remember my first game that I went to? Yeah, Eagles Patriots. Randall Cunningham spin the corner and went for a touchdown run. Philly, if AJ stuff doesn't get resolved next year, Howie will eat the $40 million dead cap hit, save $20 million, and trade AJ to the Saints for Olave and picks. Okay, wait a second. All right, wait. Let me read this again. Philly, if AJ stuff doesn't get resolved next year, Howie will eat the $40 million dead cap hit, save $20 million, and trade AJ to the Saints for Olave and picks. Hugh Douglas said that AJ is not happy with Jalen. If he's truly not happy, they will probably trade him in the offseason. But they can't trade him during the year. So he's stuck one more year. Will it be the Saints? I don't know. But what I would do is I would try to get that kid from Ohio State in 2 years. So you think Brown's latest comments are towards the front office? For all Nick flaws, he does listen to his players. And we've had the issues with AJ before Patullo became offensive coordinator. I think it's I don't know who it is. It's either three guys. I think he's talking about either Patullo, Sirianni, or Hurts. But most likely I think it's Sirianni. And Sirianni will listen to his players, but sometimes it takes them to go up to him a few times. First game was against Dallas at Danny White at the Vet. We won. Oh man, that's great. We won. I remember Danny White, couldn't stand him. Randall had 240 yards pass, 125 yards, 5 total touchdowns that 90 game went to. Yeah, Yeah, that was a great game. You got to see Ledger. Yeah, I know. That's why I fell in love with Rand. Well, I already loved Rand, but that was like the coolest thing. I'm trying to remember. I think that game might have been almost like back in those days, like when they stunk, the Eagles would get blacked out at home. Like there would be blackouts because they wouldn't sell enough tickets. I can't remember if that was one of those games or not, but Randall was awesome. My first game I attended live was Randall 91 yard punt game. Oh, the Meadowlands, yeah. Because Olave needs a new contract will be cheaper than 30 million. I don't know if I want Olave though. I think you need a complimentary guy to Devontae. So I think a guy more physical. What the deal with CJ Gardner Johnson? I don't know. He's been quiet. He's not even tweeting out or anything like that. Richard Henry, thank you for the super chat. He goes, "Yo, Phil, are you suspicious that the local media is covering for the team by not pushing the who's making the calls?" I just think they're afraid to ask. I think they're afraid to go that route because like they said, they get their press passes pulled. You know, yeah, the real score was 46. Drew Brees said that Jalen was great in the first half, but the second half, Jalen was forcing the balls to AJ. That was probably to make AJ happy. He did force them, but they were like, he wasn't open, but they couldn't do anything else. You know what I mean? I think it's the front office. I think they're having too much say on the plays. Let's stop ignoring these issues with when Doug was fired is because he wouldn't listen. Yeah, I mean, you could be totally 100% right. I don't know. All I know is this, that I saw first half where they were able to call good plays. It was creativity. They were moving the ball, and it was great. And then I saw second half that looked like the first 2.5 weeks. And I do not believe that was the same person making those calls. As of right now, Christopher, I don't think I'm going to any games, but that could change. People need me on here. I got to stream. I got to stream. You know? Favorite Eagle of all time is Reggie White. Other players were open. The ball should have gone to them instead of worrying about AJ. Agreed. I don't think they had any interest in like I don't think they had any interest in throwing the ball in the second half. I think they were hoping that they could get their run game going. They were going to waste clock, and that Tampa wasn't going to have 270 plus touchdowns. So he's going to act like 0-4 if you go. Yeah, he's going to act like we're 0-4. Then he's going to tell Mark Holmes how great Dak Prescott is and how great Dak looks. They're 1-2-1. All right, and we're going to hear that. It's going to be disgusting, and I'm going to be doing this, and I do it on purpose. Yeah, kicking balls are juice. No way every kicker got 20. Yeah, everybody's got 20% better. It's crazy. AJ will never make the Hall of Fame at this rate. Yeah, he's going to make it. You think if Kellen Moore lost the next 2 games, he will get fired and come back? No. I don't think. I think Kellen Moore could lose every game this year, and he'll be back as a coach next year. Did you see Emmanuel Acho video about AJ Brown quitting, getting 9 shut up and stop complaining targets? And he's partially right. Yeah, Kellen went to the team with the worst depth in the league. Yep. Dak is like 32, I think. Don't get me wrong. I think you just said front office. But they also share part of the blame. Petulo's scheme has been inconsistent and predictable. And they also, if they're using that analytics overboard, then that's a problem too. Okay, I got to get back some of y'all. Back what? So you should be able to lock your coordinators up for at least 3 years. Yeah, I answered that earlier. I don't think so. I don't think you can keep a guy from getting a head coaching job. And Jake Garrick says Eric Allen was the reason why I would fight for jersey number 21. Yeah, Eric was great. Which BMX did you own as a young bull? I don't remember. I had a BMX, I could tell you, but I don't know. I never was like, I had friends that were all into their bikes and had pegs and do all these tricks. I never was into that. All I want to do is play sports. But we 4-0 goofy. We are. I think the same person called plays week 1 through 3, then switched at halftime of the Rams game and kept it up the Bucks game, then switched back by 20. I agree. That's what I think, Nick. My least favorite sport is soccer. I just can't get into soccer. Like why kick the ball when you can pick it up and run with it? Tell me what you think of the Green Bay Dallas game. I thought Green Bay let Dallas off the hook. I also thought that they showed that their defense is not that good. It's the same Green Bay team. I don't think Dallas could play much better. I think Dak was up for that with Parsons. He had a good game. I don't think he can do that consistently all year. I think they stink. There's no creative in our routes. I would like to see the wide receivers run across each other, try to get the defensive backs to run. Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, Trevon Walker's hurt. Dallas stinks. I'm glad Dak is not our quarterback. Me too. Can always play better. Agreed. Eagles being Broncos this Sunday. AJ Brown going to have a breakout game. I think they're gonna. I think the whole team offensively explodes this week. I mean they can't stop the pass. Green Bay. They can't stop the throw at all. And I mean that's a team that struggled with Cleveland the week before. Now maybe Dallas caught them early at the right time. That's possible, but I don't think Green Bay's playing as good as we thought they were playing. It could be as simple as this too. Patullo had play calls in the first 2.5 games. Hurts got pissed, took the play calls for 4 quarters, gave back to the side. Maybe. I don't know. Something. I just don't know. I don't know exactly who's calling what. But I can tell you that the guy that called the plays in the first half and the second half, I do not believe are the same people. The analytics of play calling is so misleading. They're convinced they're winning because of it. But instead, they're winning with such a talent. I agree. They do need more creativity with the wide receivers running game. That doesn't mean Jalen should be forcing. Yeah. I mean, you can be more aggressive. You can do more things, and not be overly risky. Eagle fans, coaches, refs, rig, no player accountability. What do you mean? Has Dak won 19 games in a row? No. Dak stinks. He wasn't good against the Eagles. He wasn't good against the Bears. Okay, he was good against the Packers, and he was okay against the Giants. That's it. I think they doing with the play call and confuse teams. They'll be good in the first quarter and bad in the 3 games. Well, time will tell. Time will definitely tell with that. No question about it. We're going to find out. Go Birds. Yes, sir. Dak beats the Eagles when they're rested. Dak stinks. Surtain on AJ scares me a little bit, especially with everything going on in the media with AJ. Listen, I personally don't believe that AJ. I think AJ could go against anybody. I'm not worried about it. I'm sorry, but I just can't help but to think that Hurts was slightly concussed the way his head did. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I agree. I think he was hurt. I think he was. I think that's part of what happened and why he was so bad in the second half. I think he was too, and I hope it's not something that's going to come up this week out of nowhere. Bills game in December going to be a good move. It could be. 500. I love AJ, but he wasn't getting separation. Rookie cornerback shut him down. Yeah, he could have been better. I just wonder was that because of frustration? Sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the guy that played, did a good job. Hey, Philly, did you hear what Vic said about Ringo? He likes how he played as the Bucks, wants to see more. Yeah, and he said that it's possible he could be starting from there on in, but he's got to work on his tackling also. Well, if Hurts is concussed, then he's not playing against Denver. Yeah, I agree. We're going to find out. But when he got up, he was definitely wobbly. He was wobbly. He was hurt. He was seeing stars. Howie's awfully quiet. That's when Howie Roseman's most dangerous. He's most dangerous when he's quiet. I love it. Eagles can lose any game if they call the plays like the second half, especially when the injuries pile up. They need. Yep, agreed. We should be 8-0 heading into the bye. Broncos at Giants at Vikings. Giants Minnesota is the toughest game of the stretch, but I feel confident. I think the Eagles will be 8-0. And then you come back and you got Green Bay and Detroit in consecutive weeks. That's it right there. You take care of that business there. You're number one seed. I hope I am too. I hope I am too. They're saying Lane has a shoulder now, I think. McKee would smoke the Broncos. It don't matter. We're killing the Broncos. We are going to kill the Broncos. You get flashback. Yeah, I think there's a lot of PTSD with that. I think we're fine. I don't. It's not this. It's not the same team at all. This is not that kind of team. People forget Hurts took a big unnecessary hit on the run early in that game. As a quarterback, shouldn't have to choose to initiate contact. Agreed. The Chiefs are coming for us. You better take care of yourselves. We've already beaten the Chiefs. We already own them. Phil, I think it's too late to play for Myles Garrett. What if we had two for? Nah, it's too late because he signed a contract. So he's not going anywhere. Are we winning games? Yes. So I'm not mad, but we'd be dominating if we got AJ and Smith the ball, and this also opens up Barkley. Agreed. The way we're winning is not sustainable. But right now, early in the season, it's all about piling up W's. That's the main thing you need to do early in the season. That said, we've got to get better as the year goes on. And I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. To me, I think the offensive things will get fixed. I think that'll happen. What I think is more concerning and what we should worry about is that who's gonna step up at the edge rusher position. That to me is the bigger deal. You need an edge rusher. You need one quick. You know? Vic is our saving grace, but how long until he speaks up? Vic already says stuff like that. 500 exactly. Yes, you're right about the second half. That's 100% Sirianni. He did it in the Super Bowl. We get ahead and he stops trying to score. Yeah, I think so. I really, that's what my gut tells me. I hate the traitor Sean McDermott, but I love Bills Mafia. I hope both the teams go into that game undefeated. I wanna run the tush push up that ass. That's what I want to do. Just like Green Bay. Here's a guy that votes against it and then he runs it. We got to watch out for Marvin Mims. He's Bonehead's favorite. He's good. He's good. I like Sutton a lot. Yeah, they're good. They're good. I'm not saying we should sleep on them, but I do just, from a gut feeling, I think we're going to give that team a beating. I think this is going to be our easiest game so far. How can we fix the run defense? We are getting gashed. I don't think it was that bad this week, was it? I really think in the fourth quarter of that game they got tired. I think you need guys to be able to set the edge better because I don't think running inside on the Eagles has been not that good. The Eagles have done a good job. The ones that get outside that have been. Yeah, Justine Douglas podcast said that reports that AJ Brown is bad. I know. We've heard this before though. You know, we've heard this before. We'll see. Yo, Philly, did you ever definitely that Jalen Carter was wearing Kyrgios 8 chain? I know. Wasn't that versus chain? Just see, I read that one. Other defensive backs are running our receivers' routes. Our receivers make their breaks. That's how predictable our offense is. Probably tipping plays. Oh, I agree. I agree. In the first one, edge rusher, if it makes sense, look over to Danny Dennis. Well, yeah, we'll see. Nick clearly wasn't calling plays 500 and his conspiracy theories. Yeah, okay. All right, keep telling yourself that. You keep telling yourself that. You think the same play caller in that first half was the guy in the second half? I don't know, man. It's hard for me to believe that's the same guy. I don't believe it. What did AJ say? I didn't see. AJ runs 4 routes and 2 of them are the same. I know. It's true. Hey, listen, I have no problem being wrong. And I have no problem people call me a conspiracy theorist because I just tell you what I think. I do not believe it. I don't care what they say. I don't care if Nick comes out and says same guys calling plays. I do not believe it. I do not believe it. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate that. It would be obvious if Nick was calling the plays. Everyone would call him out. You think so? They won't even ask. They won't even ask the question. There's not even questions being asked. Why would they call him out? What makes you think they would call him out? You know, I don't think they would call him out. I think they keep quiet. No, you're all good. I don't care. That was the analytics department wanting us to be conservative and run out the clock in the second half, Philly. That was the case 22. Well, yeah, and that K Guns, that may be the case. But it's definitely not the same guy, okay? Nobody can tell me that the play calls in the first half and building your game plan that first half and then just scrapping it to go into this conservative mode. Nobody can convince me that was the same guy calling plays. So what I'm saying is, if Patullo called those plays, he didn't do a bad job in the first half. But why didn't he get to call plays in the second half? Plus, here's the other thing. People could say, "Oh, Nick's not calling plays," but we've got a history of this with Nick. This isn't like the first time. This is like 3 or 4 times where Nick was told not to going to call plays, takes it over, and then has to give it back. We've seen this happen before. I'm going to stick with my gut on this one. I am. I'm going to stick with my gut on this one. Yeah, they ask soft questions. They don't ask anything. Israel, thank you for the super chat. He goes, I was very impressed with Jean and Blankenship. I didn't think Blankenship played. I didn't like Blankenship play the other versus Tampa. Jean was awesome though. Jermaine Johnson would be good. I do believe Nick is, but I think it's how he controlling him like the puppet. And yes, so yeah, I mean something's off is what we all can agree on. I've done a deep dive on the play calling. Jeffrey Lurie and Howie are making the final calls. They have been doing this for the past years. So how do they do that in game? They just say, okay, we want you to run these 3 same plays? Winning runner-up. Who are we talking about? The Chiefs again? Oh, them stinking Chiefs, I'll tell you. Just joined. What I missed? No, I didn't miss much. We were talking about the game calling, the offense, talking a little about getting edge rushers. 500. I'd pop champagne bottles now of how he pulled off the star edge rusher. Trade for Trevon Walker, Jermaine. Well, get ready, have it on ice, because he's going to do something. Jermaine Johnson sounds the most realistic. Maybe. A lot of said he thinks a sense of urgency and not getting to the line fast enough from the huddle. He said there's not a lot of time left on the play clock. Yeah, I think there's something to that. I think he's definitely right. I'm glad we are 4-0. We haven't reached our potential and stuff. Other teams agreed. 500. Normally, I wouldn't be here this time of day due to work. Thanks for getting COVID. Thanks for getting COVID first time. I'm here seeing positive of it. Haha. Well, yeah, seeing the I hope you're feeling well, man. I hope it's not too bad for you. I just had it too. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as the first time though. You know? Here's what I think. I think the offensive coordinator is making the play call and Sirianni is voiding or approving over headset. So when they get the ultra conservative Sirianni, we could be over. Yeah, you might be right. Something is definitely off, right? And I just don't understand how it's not even brought up. Like, how do you not bring that up in what you call it? I kind of don't get that, you know? I think it's weird that they don't bring that up as a question. Like, that's like a legit question. Like, what's up with that? I don't know. That's just me, though. Eagles don't have a good history of training for defensive in season. I'm concerned Trey Anderson will be not elite and they will give up too much. You got to do something, though. I mean, I don't think you have a choice. Love how the salty Chiefs fan and Eagles channel. Isn't it great? Hurts turnovers. They were still a Barkley drop away from 3-1. They over-connected to the point players are not happy. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think Lurie's son is in charge. I think he's in charge of the analytics department. I think you're right about that. Pretty sure he is. Yeah. Anyways, guys, it is 11:30 my time. I have to go back to what you'll call it. So I am going to let you guys go. I will probably most likely try to get a video out later today. So look for that. But I had fun talking and hanging out with you guys. I hope everybody has a great, great day. And I will definitely talk to you guys later. With that said, I'm going to get on out of here. You guys have a great day. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. I'll be back tomorrow for more. Yeah. So I'll see you then. With that said, peace.
Come on, guys.
2 minutes to go. You have plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott! Trying to feed the Lamb! Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb! You tried to feed the CeeDee Lamb! You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb! God! It's over! It's over, Dak! Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.